quick before we get started, I pass it over. We got some webinars in April coming up. We got Core 101, which is going to be a different kind of webinar. It's more about the PushStart initiative courses on our product elements like Core, which is our main system. We also have Grow 101 for those that don't know on our PushStart platform. You can actually go in there and utilize it in staff training. So look for April 6th or 5th, excuse me, I will be having a webinar. You'll be seeing some invitations for that. Myself and my coworker, Jessica, will be going over what that is and how you guys can utilize Core 101 training for new coaches and front desk people. And we'll be doing one for our Grow clients as well, our CRM and website. Also, outside of that, we're going to have a couple of webinars coming up too in April and May from some, not just Stu, we got some other people coming in too in the industry. You're going to hear from the guys with Lasso Framework, some lead generation. You're going to hear from HSN, Nicole, founder of HSN Nutrition. For those that have worked with HSN, a great platform, and she'll be hosting a webinar on how to start your nutrition program in May. And then Stu will be coming back to us as well with some more webinars after that. So lots of stuff going on. But let's take it away. Let's get this one started on frequency pricing and kind of talk about pricing for gyms and maybe get some insight that you guys didn't think about pricing that Stu can kind of go over. So take it away, Stu. What do we got?
Awesome, guys. Everyone, can everyone see the screen? We good to go here?
I can.
All right, good. I can't see the chat anymore, Gavin. So if you see anyone who's having any issues, just let me know.
Yep.
Alrighty, guys. Frequency-based pricing. So I'm a big fan of frequency-based pricing. There's essentially in the group fitness model, when we're talking about subscription, all right, so EFT is synonymous with subscription. That stands for just electronic funds transfer, right? Just fancy language for auto pay, subscription, all that. And then there's PIF, paid in full. You know, if you know that I'm a big history buff in the fitness industry. Companies like SoulCycle existed solely on PIF. People would buy a pack of classes and that's it. There was no recurring subscription. And then you look at the health club industry, and then later on the boutique and the micro gym industry, we all live off subscription. But once we learned living off subscription, we had to find different ways for people to pick options. And it really came down to these two. Frequency-based, meaning I have different tiers of frequency, and your membership price is based on the frequency. The more frequent you come, the more your overall price is. There's generally an inverse relationship into your cost per class. So if you have an 8, a 12, and a 16 times a month membership, you would probably pay the least amount of money for the 8, but you'd be paying the most amount of money per class. Okay. And it goes down the line. When you got to that 16 times a month, you're paying the most amount of money overall per month, but is the least amount of money that you're making off that person per class. So that's frequency-based pricing. And then there was kind of the all-you-can-eat buffet option, was just an unlimited only. And a lot of gyms, you know, I started doing this in 2006. We chose that option because it was simple. Like, we didn't have a lot of business acumen. There weren't like, you know, we didn't have push press back then putting on these dope webinars for us. So like, we didn't know what to do. And so we're just like, oh, well, we'll let them come as often as they want. They can figure it out, but we're going to come up with one price. So that's kind of the world we've lived in. Okay. By a show of hands, real quick in the chat, will you go ahead and put in FBP if you do frequency-based pricing, or UO if you do unlimited only, just in the chat, just so I can kind of get an idea of what we're working with?
Yeah, make sure you're doing it to everyone so we can kind of all see who's doing what. Some of the settings in the chat, it's hosted panelists by default, but we want to make sure everyone is seeing it. So, Graham's got both.
I have both too. We're going to talk about that. I think I like the best of both worlds. I'm going to show you guys how to do that today. Cool. All right. So both.
Yeah, I'm just at a glance, I'm seeing kind of a 50-50 split. Nothing
cool.
Maybe I'm
punch cards. Good shit. Awesome. All right. So let's move through. Let's go back real quick. All right. So we've got the two options. Thank you guys for sharing. And as you can see, like this is what it would look like in practical application. All right, I'm going to close out this chat. Here's an example. Again, let's say at 8 times per month on frequency based at 160, 12 times per month at 180, 16 times per month at 200. And the numbers I came up with for the monthly total, they're high, just pulled them out of thin air. They don't mean anything. Just, it's not based on your market or your, your financial model. Just I grabbed some random numbers, separate them by $20 a pop. And that's how I did that. You obviously would not want to come up with something as generic as basing your pricing based off the slide number 2 from this webinar today. Now unlimited only, one option, one price, and then a combined. So at the bottom, this is what a lot of you guys are talking about when you said both. You might have like an 8 times a month, a 12 times a month, and then an unlimited. All right. So let's talk about this.
Yeah, I think I'm actually on both myself.
Are you on both?
Or what?
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's where the way we went.
So if we look at the left, this was literally, I pulled this off a random website. I was just Google searching CrossFit Unlimited memberships. And this was an option in which they offered this $200 per month for unlimited. Okay. $199. Then to the right is an actual price prezo version. I forget which version of this for us this was, but this went ahead and showed our 8 times a month, 12 times a month, and then our unlimited. Okay. So this version from my micro gym at Urban Movement in Charlotte, North Carolina, back in the day, this was a both option, a hybrid option, if you will, a little mix of both. We ran this for a period of time and it worked just fine. But as you grow a business and you have the both model, you will notice a lot of the benefits of that frequency-based, the first 2, which is what most people have. They have frequency-based option number 1. In this case, it's 2 times a week, aka 8 times a month. Then you have frequency-based pricing option number 2, which in this case is 3 times a week or 12 times a month, and then unlimited. You'll start to notice some shortfalls and some huge missed opportunities I'm going to talk about here. But this is kind of what these, things look like in practical application. Now, those opportunities to improve, they come when you have a better understanding as to the microeconomics, as I like to call it, of a gym. Everybody, so it's, back in the day, the what do you bench of owning a gym was how many members do you have? And then, we get sophisticated enough and you've met gym owners out and about, and yeah, they might have 450 members, but they're broke. Right? They can't afford full-time staff. The owner isn't making any money, but they had a lot of members. So we got away from that. Then we started asking about profit. What's your profit margin? And then we learned that doesn't really make any sense either. There's a lot of gyms that purposely run a profit margin to like 2% like I did, and you can make a ton of money and everyone gets paid. So all those numbers didn't work. Microeconomics is where it's at. So average revenue per class, ARC, and then average revenue per person per class, ARPC. These are 2 metrics that I like to utilize to go ahead and, accurately project revenue based on some class capacity metrics you could provide me, your membership pricing, and then attendance. All right. So in this example, 8 times a month at 160, that's a $20 ARPC. 12 times a month at 180, that's a $15 ARPC. But unlimited, we don't really know. Remember, we talked about that inverse relationship. As the total monthly amount goes up, the actual ARPC generally goes down. Well, with unlimited, we don't know, because you could have Sally on an unlimited who comes 14 times a month, and then Timmy on unlimited who's here literally 8 days a week, right? So the average revenue per person is still completely skewed at that unlimited number. So the whole reason you chose frequency-based pricing, one of the reasons was predictability. I know if someone buys this membership, they come in this often. And if they come in this often, they are worth this much to me in class. Okay. So what I recommended people do is we could convert that unlimited into a frequency-based actual product, a number. We could market it as unlimited. And I'll give you more of the details here on that in a second. But if we did that, let's say we just converted unlimited to 16 times. Because if you look across the entire micro gym industry, guys, the average client is like 3.2 down to 2.8. Now, in your subset, I hear a lot of gym owners be like, that's bullshit. The average person in my gym comes 4 times a month. I'm like, yeah, but you have 125 clients. I'm talking like the averages when we're talking thousands of gyms across the scene, right? So in your market specifically being your gym, I definitely want you to know the average attendance per person, but it's guaranteed if the numbers are done in frequency based. Well, wait a minute, Stu. Someone could have a 12 times a month membership and only come 6 times. You're right. And in which case, what happens? Your ARPC skyrockets. Okay. But that's obviously not the goal. What's the North Star metric of push press? I'll let Gavin answer.
Yeah,
check-ins. So if people are not attending, sure, you can high five yourself that you're making more money off them that month because they came less than the frequency-based membership they bought. But your ass better get to work to figure out why their check-ins, or what I call utilization rate, is so low. Why did they not come in that often? That's not a metric. That's not a bragging right you want to have several months in a row, or what's going to happen? Canceling. Okay. So by locking this in, you can now predict worst case scenarios for your ARPC. At worst case, someone on an 8 times a month membership is going to make me $20 every time they're in class. Best case scenario, but it's not really best, they make me more, but that's actually a problem for us. We want people coming in. Now, Stu, I really like the idea of an unlimited. I think it works on the marketing front. I want members to have the option to come more if they're more motivated to come on in. I understand it, I hear it, and I agree with you, okay? So the best of both worlds way to market this is that in your language and even on your price prezo sheets and on your website or wherever else you have this, you market as unlimited. You put an asterisk next to it though. This membership allows for 16 classes per month. However, you may attend as many classes as you would like. Each additional class costs X. It's the only membership that allows you to jump up in frequency a la carte. If you're at 8, yeah, but I'm off work for 2 weeks. I think I'm going to come in more. Okay, well, for $20 more, you can upgrade to 12 times a month. And again, I'm not saying $20 is the right differential between all these prices. I'm just doing this for easy math.
Yeah.
But the unlimited with the asterisks allows you to utilize the marketing language that we all like, because I bet a lot of your competition also offers an unlimited, right? And you don't want when people are quickly, scanning your price options to not see that, but you need to put a cap on it. And if people want to attend more, that has to be accounted for financially. There will always be generally around 10, maybe up to 15% of your membership that attends the gym significantly more than everyone else, right? It's a basic bell curve kind of scenario. 20% potentially show up 8 days a week. 60% are the average, right? They stick within their frequency of their frequency-based pricing. And then 20% come way under their frequency-based pricing. Well, those 20% that are attending significantly, they are lowering the revenue per class, ARC, significantly. I'm going to throw the chat up real quick, and I'm very curious for everyone. If you got to, and I'm dating myself here, but if you got to do a Saved by the Bell, like a Zach Morris timeout, right, in the middle of class, and everybody just froze, and you looked above their head, and there was just a digital number that represented the membership they had and their ARPC, the money you're making off them per class. And you just looked at all your members, a good packed class. If you got to pick for a second, which membership would you actually want? Like from a revenue per class standpoint, which membership would you actually want every member to have based on the fact that, let's say you have a 20-person cap on class, you froze everybody. Okay, we got Brad Hoover showing up, and Brad's got a cheat code because we work together. Who else? Someone else. What membership option out of these 3 would you want? Think critically. Everyone's frozen. You could instantly change your membership with a wink of an eye, and everyone goes to a certain membership, whichever one you want. Let's go. I know you guys, I want to see some critical thinking because there's some really good conversation to have on this. And this is where you guys really get the value out of webinars that are interactive versus when you watch one of our courses. This is really where we get it. And then I offer 2 days a week, 12 times a month. Mathematically, guys, are you limited by the number of credit cards you can process per month? Or are you limited by the amount of people you can have per class? Which one? I'm pretty sure Push Press does not put a limit on how many credit cards or checking accounts you can charge per month. Do they, Gavin?
We do not.
Okay. So you could charge 1 million people per month if you wanted. But how many people can you fit in a class? When you realize that you're only going to be able to sell X amount of class times per day, because unfortunately, you're probably not going to have a pop in 2:30 p.m. class.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have your morning pocket. You'll be lucky enough you pull off a solid afternoon and you have an evening pocket. And if you're sitting back 10 years into this, you're like, how do I make more money? Well, you can't fit more people in the class unless you completely change your equipment and layout and operational capacity and all that. So when you start thinking of it, it's like, okay, I got to raise prices. That's what price raises do. They increase revenue without increasing people. But when you look at memberships here, I don't want people to dislike 8 times a month memberships or 12 times a month memberships because they don't give us the bigger number at the end of the month. They give you the bigger number that you're actually limited by. Your bottleneck is class capacity, my friends. That's your bottleneck. And when you get that unlock in your brain, it's like, oh shit, that makes so much sense. Because when you think of that, you kind of look at 8 times a month as a really good membership option. My number one selling membership at Urban was this one because my staff to push, it was 8 times a month. After that, it was 12. And then it was our unlimited, which was really 16. The reason being is because someone coming 8 times a month, would we all agree we don't think they're going to get great results with just coming to the gym 8 times a month? I would say that. I would agree, unless they're very young training age, they're very deconditioned and overweight. But someone who's only coming 8 times a month, what are they probably doing outside my gym? Something else.
Mm-hmm.
And in today's world, as I stand here in 2023, and I've been in this industry for almost 20 years, we have never had more of a nomadic fitness culture than we do today. You guys are not losing as many clients as you think because your programming sucks. You're losing a lot of clients because some of them are doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu a la Joe Rogan, or because they watched the Icarus documentary and now they're they want to also do triathlons, or they saw that High Rocks is coming to Dallas and they want to do that, or obstacle course racing. Your members are going to be more involved in other fitness pursuits now more than ever. Back in the day, fitness was very isolation. I do one thing and I do one thing only. That is not the case anymore. You know what the number one growing gym in the United States is right now? Rock climbing facilities.
Of course.
Fastest growing fitness concept in the US is rock climbing right now. That's adjacent to what you do, but it's not what you do. So when you have frequency-based pricing, members who might have had to cancel you because if you only had an unlimited, can now downgrade and do some of what you do and some of what their thing is that they want to try out. And guess what? Go ahead.
I mean, it's also seasonality. I mean, I'm in Minnesota. Like people are stuck in the gyms for 6 to 8 months, and then I would also say pickleball is. I mean, these other things that people are going to go interview like sports. I mean, it's crazy here. My gym's always on the shoulder seasons, just huge exodus. But yeah, you're totally right. Yeah, it's like, hey, here's an option. We understand what's going on in your life. Are they going to go train for a marathon? That's a big thing.
Yeah.
Here.
Let me go back to this last slide. So, and all that being said, Gavin's 1,000% correct. I totally forgot about pickleball. Pickleball's here to just mess our shit up as gym owners. It is.
Pickleball.
It is. It's so funny. I taught like a good friend of mine. He's the co-founder of a very successful fitness franchise out of Charlotte. They've got 100. They're doing, look, guess what he did? He hedged his bets. He also now invested in a pickleball company that's coming to Charlotte.
Truly, this webinar is about putting a pickleball court
It's
in
really
the gym facility.
Push
because
Press is
that's
rolling out a franchise for pickleballs, and we'd like to know who would like to apply.
yes, exactly.
But
Sorry.
so let's break this down. If we're really making a strong argument for this, so I think everyone kind of gets an idea on what frequency-based pricing is, how to maybe do both. But let's make a really good argument as to why we want to think a certain way about this to be a gym that survives into 2033. Okay.
Right.
You have upsell and downsell options with frequency-based pricing. So you will save a majority of your cancellations into downsells. Someone goes from unlimited and an unlimited only, that is the equivalent to a marriage. When you're married, what is the only status change that could potentially happen to you? Divorce. It's the only change to your status. There's nothing else that happens. You're married, that's the pinnacle. The only thing is backwards or divorce, aka cancellation, just a really expensive one. Okay. When you have an unlimited only, there's only one thing to do: cancel. Sure, you might sell them on that 10-pack punch card, but we all know how effective that is.
Yeah, those are rough.
Downsell them to either lower frequency, right, based on what they're currently doing, and actually embrace it. I mentioned Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Gavin mentioned pickleball and those because I want you guys to embrace it. The gym that is cosmopolitan about how they think about their members' fitness and not scarcity minded. Ooh, no, you should only train here 6 days a week, 4 days a week. I promise you, you survive with less work than those that are fighting for the members to not do other things because they're afraid the member will cancel and do something else. Those that actually push it. We always recommended urban movement 2 days a week. There's a great run club. Do that 1 day a week. We have partnerships with these local yoga studios. Do that 1 to 2 days a week. There's your week. It allowed me, because again, if I sell 8 times a month membership, guys, how many more memberships can I sell knowing they're only coming 8 times in a month versus if I sold unlimited, which I knew they were coming 16 times per month? Twice as many.
Yeah,
I get
the counter would be, yeah, I mean, that makes sense. It definitely makes sense. Let's just play the devil's advocate here. But if you have, we know that these unlimited, like you said, unlimited guys are not going to be coming maybe that 16 plus times a month, right? Do you take that extra cash that you know that they're not going to utilize that, the ultimate value of each class for that unlimited, and pocket that? I mean, we're worried about then what you're saying is they're going to cancel at some point because they know they're not utilizing it to its fullest value and extent of taking all the classes on unlimited client, and they're going to dip. Is that what you're kind of worried about?
My concern on that front is more, it's not as much on the backside, it's more on the front side. Most of you guys probably own some type of group fitness, maybe it's barbell-based strength and conditioning, like a CrossFit or something. Look at number 3 bullet point. Less intimidating at the point of sale for members getting started with the fitness journey. Trust me, show me the sales closing rates for an unlimited only gym versus the closing rates of a gym that goes 8, 12, 16 or 8, 12 unlimited. I promise you, frequency-based pricing beats them out. You know how much easier it is to tell Sally, who's 40 pounds overweight? Sally, man, super excited you're getting started your fitness journey. And we have a couple membership options. I'm going to recommend we start with our 8 times per month membership. Getting you in here 2 days a week that works with your schedule, I think is a great starting point. Generally, our members, when they're getting started, will do our 8 times a month membership for 2 to 3 months until they really get a groove going. They're not as sore. They're looking forward to it. They're feeling the movements, blah, blah. Then we upgrade them to 12. Now you created value ascension. You've created a goal. What's our goal? Get to 12. And we'll do that for a couple months. Then what's your goal? Get to 16 or unlimited, whatever. You've created a journey for her. Do you think she's less intimidated by going 8 and then building up to 12 and building up to 16 versus more intimidated where she gets, hard close into unlimited and she's like, unlimited, fuck, it took me 3 months just to walk in this place. I mean, I might be able to survive 1 to 2 days a week right now.
Mm-hmm.
Your sales
Yeah, I mean, running definitely like that client journey thing, every 3 months we're bumping up based on the goals for that certain specific client. It's nice to have the selling point for those that are not as deconditioned or the goal
Correct.
and such. So I get that you're hitting multiple markets there. What I'm also worried about is, as gym owners, do we, have a understanding of the arm or no, the lifetime value, not the arm, the lifetime value of the client that starts on 8 times, a month. Like, are they going to be able to hang out for 6 months plus and get that money back?
Yeah. So I think that's a great conversation. So to have that, we need one metric, which is what is your, lifetime client value and the length of membership that somebody holds on average at your gym, right? So what is that baseline metric? And then do we think it would increase or decrease that average length of membership and lifetime client value if we did frequency-based pricing versus like an unlimited only? Is that kind of the conversation?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I think we can all agree that unlimited only is it's a tough one to sell, but like this combination, I see a lot of people are saying they have both. They have the frequency and the unlimited option at the top, which you talked about with the asterisks and being able to charge them additionally. But the both scenario where they got a little bit of both.
And Gavin brought up a great point on this previous comment there was that, let's say they don't do 16 times, per month, Stu. They don't really cap that unlimited. They really just keep it truly unlimited. What percentage of people are actually going to be taking advantage of it to the tune of more than 4 times per month? And again, I think that's a great one-on-one. Like if you're a gym right now evaluating maybe what we've put forth in front of you today, look at your current attendance. And let's say you have an unlimited and run the numbers for yourself, right? Like, unfortunately, we can't do this for you on that front. You'd have to look at your own numbers and say, well, I currently have 19% of my members coming in between 16 and 18 times per month. Well, at those numbers, I'd say, them not paying for those additional classes could be potential missed revenue. You could say, well, I've priced that unlimited high enough, Stu, that even if they go up to that 16 or 17 or 18 number, my ARPC doesn't hurt. Like I'm going to be able to make as much money or the same amount of money or just as good enough money per class, ARC. And if you've ran those numbers, then more power to you. Stick with just the unlimited. If you're a smaller facility with smaller class caps, so you can't, for group fitness, I generally like to see 20 for strong financial viability, unless you're going to be more expensive. But if you're like 9 to 12 or something like that, class cap, you're going to need every person's per class revenue to be at the threshold of what you need. Because unfortunately, you just don't have as much space to work with or as many opportunities to work with. So again, it's going to kind of vary gym to gym from that front. But I think the biggest thing, if you go with that both, even if you keep it unlimited, you don't do my recommended 16 so you could capitalize on the revenue for those extra classes. The downsell, upsell, and downsell options, I think, are a strong enough argument. Creates obviously cancellation alternatives. Me personally, I love being able to project every average revenue per class, knowing what my worst case scenario is because everything is frequency based. And then, doing 8 and 12. And once you realize like that client, like our longest standing clients were the ones that we weren't married to. We considered married unlimited. We considered dating 8 and 12. Well, I don't know about you guys, but if you're dating 3 people at once, while that might be annoying, you don't probably see them all that often, right? So even if they are annoying or something like that, like it's not that big of a headache because you're like, I only see them twice a month or twice a week. I only see them and I do this other thing too. I did this other person. But if you're married to them, which is unlimited, those are the clients. And you guys could probably all agree with this. There's a lot of good ones in there, but they're also the unlimited clients because they're there 3 to 4 plus days per week. You change the programming, you adjust the schedule, you move the equipment around, you do this, you do that, you fire that coach. They're the ones who have the most opinion about it because you are such a significant portion of their weekly social calendar. I found sophistication. Our highest earning clients that made the most money came 8 or 12 times per month at my gym because they're high performing clients. You show me a client that comes in 6 days a week, works out for an hour and mobilizes for 30 minutes after that. They don't own their own business. They're not making 6 figures fucking, working in the C-suite. They're probably, that younger, post-college. I don't have a lot of responsibilities. So I don't, I don't have a kid and a mortgage yet type scenario. So again, these are also broad biases I'm creating based on my own experience. You guys obviously have to distill this through what's going on in your market, in your gym. But at the end of the day, I'm hoping that at least we get a good conversation going about frequency-based or unlimited only. And if there's anything I can answer for you guys, please throw it up inside of the chat.
Good, yeah, good segue. We do have some questions. Yeah, and I think exactly. Most of these webinars and what you're talking about, industry fitness, whatever we do with PushStart and do these webinars are broad brushes based on, well, things to think about, and then you distill it down. Always the case. Let's see here. Graham is actually asking, what about the baseline price and then pay per class that is tallied at the end of the month?
You never want to collect money in arrears. All right. You're not like a freelancer that's going to invoice someone, and once the project's done, you collect the money up front. So I would recommend a baseline. So the baseline price is the ARPC of the membership. Okay. If it's frequency based, if it's unlimited, you can assume a number based on your average. But then if someone wants to do more classes, they just tell the girl at the front desk, oh, hey, I need to purchase another class, because they can't check in. Like in Push Press, Gavin, if I have 8 classes per month and I've used all 8, it won't let me check in, right?
Right.
So
you will have to set up so to do that with Push Press software, it's a little bit, not something that is super, I would say, built into the hybrid, like a plan of unlimited. You would have to create a punch card based on that class price that you are going to add on to that unlimited and have that.
Could somebody come to the gym and then tell the coach, hey, I'm out of my classes, can you add one to my account? And then I just sell them a PIF, like a single one-off class? You
can, yep. And you can also have that in your store app as the problem is we don't want people just buying this. So you want to probably gate that by making it a punch card and then having it in the store app for them to purchase as a one-time purchase. And you could also, I guess, have it in the member app. Anyways, you can take that offline and certainly reach out to support within our app and talk through that scenario. But yeah, you'd have to test it and try it, whichever way works best. Where you want these people purchasing this additional class.
And I see Chris has got a great question here too.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's see, Chris, how would you avoid alienating your highest frequency unlimited members with an add-on sessions?
Chris, and let me just make sure you understand. I'm understanding this correctly. And I see the comment here that Chelsea made in the Q&A. She said she had the same question. She has many people who come to the gym, high frequency, because it's for their mental health as well as physical, right? And I understand that, but just understand Chris's question. Are we saying, how do we do this, but without charging them for the additional attendance? Is that essentially what you're asking, Chris? Without pissing them off. So Chris, when you say piss them off, are you beyond, we're talking business to business owner right now. Are you talking charging them? Because I don't know what pisses them off. Okay. So isolate what you're saying. How do I let them use my services more without charging them? Well, Chris, if that's a problem, like again, a lot of owners may have an issue with this. Like, I don't like charging people a lot. Number one, I'd say that's part of that's a personal thing. That's a thing on you that we need to work on as an owner. Because you have an incredible facility. I'm hoping you've got incredible coaches. I bet, like, you've got a great location. Your service is worth more. And I know Chelsea said people are alien, they have mental health issues. I have hunger health issues. I went to Chipotle yesterday and I was hungry as shit. And I really wanted double chicken. And if I ordered double chicken from Chipotle, they're going to charge me for double chicken, because I use more of a thing that they had. I could use less if I wanted, but I chose to use more. And that thing has a cost. It has a value. I want you to think of your classes. Like, I don't want to say like, well, they pay a flat amount of money and they could just come as often as they want. Every class is of high value. You have a coach in there. You've been developing them and working on their craft. You have a facility that you pay to be open during these hours. I would challenge you to think of it as, I want them to come as often as they want, but there's not one business you can really think of that does service-based in real life services in which if you want more of it, it doesn't cost more.
And if it is that case and you do get pushed back, then the chicken isn't that good. You don't think you should get double charged for that chicken. And that's a bigger issue of your org chart, who's in power of coaching those classes, and the relationship between your product and buying it. There's something there.
Yeah. And one quick thing on that too, that also tells me another thing about utilization rates. So when you ask that question, like, man, I don't want to piss people off, that tells me your utilization rates probably aren't as high as they should be. Because when your utilization rates are really high, meaning classes are sold out, guess what you always have? Pissed off people. Now, it's not until you start selling out classes and you have a wait list of 3 to 4, and those members are constantly in your ear, like, I can never get in the class. That's when you start thinking, well, who's in class today? Well, shit, Johnny, it's his 9th workout this week. But he's costing me money by him being in here because I can't get these other people in. Like, if you want to come more, that's fine, guys, but you have to pay to play. So as utilization of your classes get up and you're hitting your cap on your capacity, you'll start thinking differently about, should people pay more to come more? And the answer is yes, in my opinion.
Yeah, and that takes some analysis of the data, take some time to dig into those numbers and be able to track that down. Let's see here. Dane, how would you incorporate this if you offer more than one class workout time? Meaning that the plans are specific to class. So you got a program for, let's say, more of a cardio class, and you got a, for lack of a better term, CrossFit has more strength stuff. So you have 2 different plans for each of those classes. The way I read that.
My recommendation is, do not make the mistake so many of us made in 2012 to 2016, where we rolled out boot camp and light programs in which we charge less.
Yeah.
It's an equal amount of money. So they have tokens, right? Think of like their credits of the 8, the 12, the 16, unlimited, they're tokens. It doesn't matter which machine you put it in. It's all the same. Do not change value of class because one isn't using a barbell. Right? That doesn't like
it's tough to hear that, I know, probably, Bane, but like, yeah, it's probably smart to keep your classes are all value them the same. Your training of your coaches and the coaches training that goes into each of those should be very much equal. That's hard.
Because again, Bane, you'll hit a utilization issue. Your business is going to continue to grow every month, and you're going to start filling up that hour, and you're going to be like, I got all these guys only paying X because they're doing the light or the easy or this other version. These people, you'll start actually, having resentment towards that program because it takes up some space. It takes up precious limited resources. So yeah, same price across the board, brother.
Yeah. Okay. These are great questions. Everyone's kind of fired up. It's great. It's good to see. Greg, when doing 8 times, 12 times a month, do you still ask for a 3-month commitment contract? I get this a lot. I get a lot of questions about that kind of commitment time frame.
Yep.
Thanks, Stu.
I always have historically recommended an initial 90-day agreement with a 30-day cancellation notice, which typically, because most clients are not Johnny on the spot with that, is going to give you a 4-month initial, someone's there for 4 months. And hopefully your product is dialed in that at the end of 4 months, if it renews to a month-to-month level, you're good. But I always initially like 90 days. It's easily justifiable to the customer at the point of sale. Well, Sally, it takes about 90 days for us to create a really great rate of adaptation for you to see results, but also about 90 days for us to show you all the different kinds of workouts and exercise styles that we do here. I know you mentioned you're coming on the 8 times a month membership. So within 90 days, you're going to have seen 24 great workout examples. You're going to be seeing some good results, but we want to know you're going to be here for that period of time to actually get the results. So I like those initial ones. If you run with contracts that are longer, 12-month, whatever, I'm good with it. Just do not crush your contract price and take it below what you need, below what's financially viable on an ARPC, because it's lower than the month-to-month. You have to increase the month-to-month and inflate it so that your contract, because anyone here who sells contracts, I promise you, your contracts sell more than your month-to-month pricing because it's cheaper, okay? Your contract pricing has to be the basement. This is the lowest amount of money we can go and financially kill it, and then you inflate the month-to-month, okay? That way, if anyone pays the month-to-month, great. But yeah, I'm good with contracts of any duration, as long as they don't lower the amount of, they make you still financially viable.
Yeah, I've always been more keep them on a month cadence, even for the first 3 months. Contract, sign something that you can pull call back on, so then they don't go from this one upfront cost to big upfront cost to
Yeah.
into that kind of. I mean,
Yeah.
everyone's doing subscription. It's just how it is. Like
Yeah.
Netflix
Agree.
doesn't charge. Not often do you see Netflix or any of those say, "Hey, for the whole year you can pay this," and then for month to month, it's month to month from the get go.
Zach.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, whatever one you say.
Zach, how do you recommend pricing? Unlimited, 3 days per week, 2 days per week, if class size are capped at 12. Zach, you're missing about 7 numbers there, buddy. I need about 7 more metrics and I can give you that answer, but I can't give that to you with that. There's not enough data provided. Essentially, Zach, you work backwards. Class capacity, how many people per class? Then you go back, how many classes per week? Okay, that'll give you a monthly number. Okay, then you work back. What do I believe the average attendance is going to be, or the average, what's going to be the most average membership option picked? Let's say you think it's your 3 times per month. Okay, you have that data, and then I have the number I need to make. If I want to make 5% profit, 20% owner pay, 35% payroll, 40% operating expenses, and 5% taxes, and I want my take home to be this, like, again, about 7 more data points, and I could do that math for you very quickly. But unfortunately, I can't do that for you here.
A common question, like, and then what's this? We also saw one that what's the separation between the different tiers, like the dollar point for each, from 8 to 12 to 16, let's say. What would you be the pricing for?
Oh, the gaps in between?
Yeah, the gaps.
So the default is everyone goes 20 in between, right? Like I did in the example. I'm actually a big fan of decoy pricing. So decoy pricing, if anyone's ever watched, there's a great video, just put decoy, the National Geographic did it, where they did a sales psychology study at a movie theater. Small popcorn, medium, and large popcorns, all separated by $2. Well, people, when it makes too much sense, well, $2 down, but $2 up, but it is a large, they get paralysis by analysis, and they generally just default to the safest option, okay? However, if you do decoy pricing, you set one here with a frequency number that you know they don't really want, right? So maybe that's like 6 times a month, or maybe even 8 times a month. You know they want more than that. Then you set the one that you know that they want significantly more expensive away from that one. And then just a couple dollars more, like a number that doesn't make any sense is the unlimited, like the what? So it might go, how about this? 8 times a month is 160. 12 times a month is 189. Unlimited, 196. They instantly go from 160 to like, fuck, I don't want that, but like 189, okay, 12. Well, fuck, for $8 more, I could get unlimited. And that's called decoy pricing. Just put it in the Google. I've made a bunch of content on this as well, put in the interwebs. But decoy pricing is a very, it's a unique strategy. I've used it. We ran it for 3 years as an experiment just so I can make the content on it. It works well.
But do you want them going to that unlimited?
That's where are you in your membership?
I mean, you're just kind of
100%. It depends where you are in your membership. Generally, early on, more of us, if I was starting off a gym, I want more unlimited members attending more, even if my ARPC is low, because I need the virality of word of mouth to take hold. And we really don't see it take hold to around 150 members as it really gets strong.
Correct. Yeah.
So then I might adjust everything once I'm getting closer to my utilization rates being consistently in the 80s and 85s, and then readjust my pricing model.
And that's, it's funny, across our clientele, we have a lot of people that are under that 150. Or probably maybe pricing it and pushing for, just trying to get people to get, the 8 times a month in there and then punch cards and stuff. So, well, this has been a really good conversation. I can tell by the chat, people are fired up about this. So, Stu, tell them where they can. Obviously, Stu is our guest today and is hosting this. Gracious to take the time and then put together this presentation. But Stu, obviously, does some side coaching as well. Stu, where can they find you if they ask
guys,
questions?
if you got any more questions, I'd be more than happy to take the time to answer them. Just shoot me an email, stu@WTFGymTalk.com. Kind of give me some details. My boy Zach, if you got some more context there, I'd be more than happy to answer that question for you, buddy. And anyone else, just shoot me an email and I'll respond back. I've got a long plane ride tomorrow. I'll be more than happy to answer these.
Long plane ride. Where are you going?
Seattle.
Oh, nice, fun. And then I will just leave everybody with this. We are going to be obviously putting this recording up online. There's a lot of content that was covered, a lot of different scenarios. So you can go to pushstart.thinkific.com, and we do have the Push Start webinars from, a lot of them are with Stu actually, from last year and first quarter. So I'll be putting that up here. There's also some great fireside chats with my colleague Michelle and some of our clients that are really doing certain things really well with the push press product. So if you want to take a look at those as well, there's great webinars at see. And then on the Push Start product, there's also our coursework, which there's a pricing one on that as well. It's put together. So I'll be sending out a recording link to sign up and enroll in here, and you guys can look through the other ones. And then also in that recording, there'll be a link to our coursework on pricing, so you guys can kind of go through that on your own. And then I will also be sharing our customer success link to book a call with one of us. I know Stu's a sought after guy, and you can email him, but we can also have push spreads talk through some of these scenarios of where you guys are at in the business, like early on gym or somebody that's been doing this for years, and kind of work with you through using the products and from our experience on our team. So I'll leave that there. You guys all showed up and registered, so I have all your emails, and I'll be following up with those links. And I think that's really where I'm going to leave it today.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for attending.
All righty. You guys have a great Wednesday. Take care.
See ya.
See ya.